With Wakanda's tech, flight should be easy, so why doesn't the Black Panther suit have it? With all that vibranium and genius tech at his fingertips, and he's still running, leaping, and staying grounded. Sounds strange, right? Here's the crazy part. Wakanda absolutely has the technology to make him fly. They've built invisible jets, hovercrafts, and drones that zip through the skies with ease. So why in the world doesn't T'Challa, or even Shuri, wear a suit that lets them soar above the battlefield? That's the question fans keep asking, and today, we're gonna break it down. Because the answer isn't just about tech, it's about character, culture, and some surprising design choices that Marvel made on purpose. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll see exactly why the Black Panther suit was never meant to fly. First, what the Black Panther suit actually does. In the MCU, the Panther Habit is a vibranium mesh suit designed primarily for protection and kinetic energy management. The suit soaks up impacts, stores kinetic energy, and can release it later. Shuri even demonstrates the way it captures and redistributes force, which is why a single punch can glow and explode if overloaded. That energy absorption trait is the suit's defining technical advantage. That point, the suit's energy storage matters for flight. Flying requires controlled thrust and a system for producing lift or steady propulsion. If your armor is built to absorb and store kinetic energy, that's not the same engineering problem as creating durable, efficient propulsion. You can store hits from bullets, you still need engines, turbines, or repulsors to push air and overcome gravity. Wakanda builds flying vehicles and drones easily, but integrating a full flight system into a skin-tight combat suit presents trade-offs: power source, size, heat management, control systems, and the danger of turning stored kinetic energy into an uncontrolled explosion if something goes wrong. In the film, even Shuri warns that too much stored kinetic energy can be dangerous. Second, Wakanda does have flight tech, just not always worn on the person as a personal flight system. The MCU shows flying craft, remote drones, and specialty suits for other roles. In the comics and concept art, Black Panther's suit has sometimes incorporated glider-like elements or auxiliary systems for brief vertical movement and tactical maneuvering. Think short boosts or gliding rather than sustained Iron Man-style flight. So it's not that Wakanda can't make anything fly, it's that the Black Panther's core purpose and the suit's main design choices emphasize stealth, protection, and energy manipulation over full atmospheric flight. Third, there's the storytelling and character reason. Superhero costumes often reflect the character's myth and motif. Black Panther is rooted in the Panther, a stealthy, grounded predator that moves with speed, agility, and silent impact. Giving him full, flashy, rocket-powered flight would push him visually and thematically toward Iron Man territory, risking a loss of unique identity. Directors and designers aim to keep each hero distinct. Iron Man's flashy flying armor signals tech as identity. Black Panther's suit channels royal stealth, ritual, and Wakandan cultural symbolism. Costume designers and the filmmakers explicitly work to balance cutting-edge tech with cultural and thematic authenticity. That's a deliberate creative choice, not a technical oversight. Fourth, practical engineering trade-offs matter on screen. To let a human-sized suit fly for long periods, you need fuel or a high-density energy source, cooling systems, and stabilizers. Those systems add bulk and change mobility. Black Panther's fights rely on acrobatics and close-quarters combat. A bulky flight rig would reduce agility and change the choreography. The MCU workaround is smarter. Give Wakanda vehicles and aerial assets when you need air superiority, and keep the Panther suit optimized for what makes T'Challa, and now Shuri or whoever wears the mantle, exceptional on the ground. That choice preserves dramatic tension. Grounded combat feels more visceral and immediate than airborne dogfights. Sources on Wakanda's aviation and its creative design choices back this up. Fifth, look at the comics for nuance. The comics sometimes give Black Panther additional gear gliders, cloaking systems, or tech-assisted leaps, but full flight is rare. Comic runs and tie-ins show that Wakandan tech is versatile, and on occasion the Panther has used flight-adjacent tools, but Marvel tends to keep his primary mode as elite physicality plus clever tech, not constant flight. If you dig deep into older issues and alternate universe stories, you'll find exceptions, but the core character across decades remains primarily ground-based. This history matters because creators draw on decades of precedent when making film choices. Sixth, think about gameplay and audience expectations. Audiences already associate Black Panther with certain visual cues: the Panther helmet, the Vibranium sheen, the kinetic storage trick. If every hero started flying the same way, movies and comics lose visual variety. From a franchise design perspective, keeping each hero's movement distinct helps storytelling, merchandising, and fight design. Iron Man flies, Falcon flies with wings, Black Panther moves like a shadow. That variety is valuable for franchise health, and it's a conscious production choice discussed by costume designers and directors. Seventh, and here's a stronger technical subtlety: Vibranium's fictional properties complicate flight integration. Because Vibranium can absorb, store, and reroute kinetic energy, using it simultaneously as both a protective energy sponge and a propulsion medium could create unstable interactions. If the suit is storing kinetic energy, and you then try to convert that into thrust or lift, without careful management, you risk sudden energy release in the wrong vector. The filmmakers hint at this exact hazard when the suit's energy gets overloaded, so designers might prefer separating two engineering problems. Let Vibranium do defense and let Wakandan craft handle propulsion. That separation keeps the suit safe and reliable in combat. Eighth, there's precedent. When Wakanda needs aerial power, they build it into vehicles or specialized armor, not the standard Panther Habit. For example, Wakandan jets, drones, and ceremonial craft fill air roles. Comics also show the Panther providing tech to others. Falcon received wing tech tied to Wakandan resources at one point, which highlights Wakanda's ability to make flight tools, even if the Panther's suit stays mostly grounded. That helps explain why the world has flying Wakandan machines without the hero himself becoming a constant flyer. Finally, what would it take for the Black Panther to fly regularly? You'd need a re-engineered power core in the suit, advanced thermal controls, flight stabilization, and a rewrite of the suit's core design so that Vibranium storage and propulsion systems cooperate. You'd also want a narrative reason, a mission or character arc that justifies the change without stealing Black Panther's identity. In short, Wakanda could do it, but there's an intentional mix of cultural, cinematic, and technical reasons why they usually don't. So what's the takeaway? Wakanda is more than capable of flight tech, and the Black Panther has sometimes used gliders or short-burst aerial systems in the comics and concept art. But the Panther suit's core design focuses on the Black Panther and Wakanda cultural protection, stealth, and kinetic energy control, not sustained airborne travel. So what do you think? Should Black Panther finally get a flying suit, or should he stay the grounded king we know? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next Marvel Deep Dive.